Shalom, shalom. We be live. Hi, everyone. I have a warning here for you, for Americans, for Trump. Hey, I know you're watching Trump. I have a warning for you today that you need to watch. By the way, I'm kidding. I'm not delusional. By the way, but this is important. This is important because they have said the quote out loud. So the Khamenei just came out and admitted something that the Trump administration needs to be able to pay a lot of attention to. I know a lot of you guys are saying, well, he already knows. People are advising him, but sometimes he says things that I don't know if he's paying attention or not. And this is very important. What I'm about to show you today is very important because it's a trap. It's a trap. And Khamenei has admitted that this is actual genuine taqiyya. Guys, people in the chat, people who are telling me that Muslims do taqiyya, and sometimes I'm like, no, that's not taqiyya, that they're actually being honest there. This is, we now have evidence that this is like, we need to have a taqiyya bell here. We need to basically be ringing the taqiyya bell now. I should have one right now, because this is it. This is a genuine example. Yes, exactly. Who's it? Where's anti-Islam in the chat? Why is it not showing up for me? Yes, anti-Islam in the chat saying taqiyya, ring, ring, ring. Yes, exactly. There we go. Anti-Islam is saying taqiyya. This is set up. Yes, ring, ring. Exactly, guys. I will show you that Khamenei and his team are admitting to their followers in Iran that they be lying. That the whole idea of the negotiations that is happening between Trump and the Iranian regime is to just survive for now and attack later. Trump is trying to do a negotiation with the nuclear negotiation to come up with a deal with the Iranian regime, so that we could get long-lasting peace within the Middle East, and basically the Iranian regime doesn't have nuclear weapon, and basically we have peace in the Middle East and stuff like that. Okay, and we here on this channel, we have been telling you that there's no negotiating with these mofos. These people are not to be trusted. Negotiating with these people is just going to buy them time, because they're weak. Right now they're weak. Right now they're damaged. Right now they are extremely. They're basically close to the point of complete, absolute destruction of the Iranian regime. Internal pressure and Israel's masterful elimination of the Iranian regime's proxies and the Iranian people's uprising against the regime has brought the regime down to its knees. And now it's Trump's turn to basically not help the regime. And these people are just trying to buy time so that they could survive this. And then when they have the upper hand, they will attack. Guys, don't trust me. Hey, everyone in the chat, do not trust me, because I'm an Islamophobe. I am an anti-Iranian regime activist. So of course I'm going to be biased. If I say, don't trust these people, they're just doing this so that later they could attack. I spit on my mic. You shouldn't be trusting me. I have bias. I am biased. You listen to him. Listen to this guy. He's going to tell you that that's the plan. Trump administration, are you listening? Negotiate. This person is telling you here, I will play it for you. He's telling you that all of this negotiation is so that we could survive now and attack later. Is anyone listening? Guys, like this stream, because I need more people to listen to what's happening here. This is important. This is important. Guys, we are paying attention to the millions of lives that are at stake. I'm not exaggerating. Show me how I am exaggerating. Yes, exactly. This is taqiyya. Like, again, I am one of those people who calls that some other ex-Muslims or other anti-Islam activists that call everything taqiyya. Okay, and I'm saying, like, people like, well, Armin, don't you know taqiyya is a real thing? Like, I know it's a real thing, but this is the thing you're pointing to is not one of them. Here, the people who have looking for taqiyya, I have it for you. It's here. I'll show it to you. Let's listen to this. Let's listen to this evil dictator. Hey, go ahead. Hold on.
در زمان امام صادق علیه السلام بنا بوده در تقدیر الهی نه در قضای محتوم الهی بنا بود یه تحولی اتفاق بیفته.
All right, guys, I am going to give you all the details of Shia theology and their narratives and all the hadiths and the stories that they have and how that's related to politics. Are you ready to understand the connection between religion and politics in Islam, in Iran, in the Iranian regime, and how that translates into global, like Middle Eastern and global geopolitics when it comes to Iran? Because this is very interesting, because a lot of people are like, oh, Islam means just crazy people do crazy things, and it's a lot more nuanced than that. And I will tell you, and this is a very good example of how all of this works. Okay, and this will, like, if you understand, if you follow this show, you will understand these details more than anyone else. Okay, so yesterday was the anniversary of the death of Imam Sadiq. It was it yesterday, guys? In the chat, let me know if it is whatever. But who's Imam Sadiq? Hey, D saying hello, infidels. Who's Imam Sadiq? Do you know who Imam Sadiq is? So Shia Islam, the most prominent version of it is 12 Shia Islam. Why do they call it 12 Shia Islam? Because they have 12 Imams. After Muhammad died, there were 12 Imams that were infallible, pure, holy people that everything they said about religion was absolutely correct, that you should follow them, just like you follow Muhammad and Allah. Okay, in fact, some of them are even more important. So Imam Sadiq is the sixth Imam from the 12 Imams. There were the sixth one. He's telling you. So this is, by the way, this is Khamenei explaining to you why he is surrendering, why he is negotiating with the murderer of Qasem Soleimani, why he's bending the knee, why he's bending over, why he's letting America basically dictate what the Iranian regime should be doing with its uranium enrichment facilities and shit like that. Okay, and this is a very hard sell, because Khamenei himself was the person who many times over years said, first of all, we will not negotiate with the United States. And even if we did, in an impossible hypothetical situation, if we negotiated with the United States, we wouldn't be negotiating with Trump. And now they're negotiating with Trump because they are weak, and the Trump administration has put a lot of B-2, the thought system, a lot of aircraft carriers, and a lot of B-52s, B-2s, all these other stuff. Like, they're all over the region, and these people are pissing their pants, and they're like, oh my God, yeah, okay, so we need to surrender. So Khamenei, who said that we will never do this, and that this is dishonorable, it's unwise, it's not smart to negotiate, now he's negotiating. So the reason why that's a hard sell to the hardliners in Iran is because a lot of hardliners are like, what the fuck are we doing? Like, what? We are negotiating with the greatest evil of our time. Like, we are bending the knee to Trump. So there's a lot of internal conflict. So Khamenei is using not one, but two out of 12 imams. So remember, when these people want to go to war, they use Imam Hussein as their role model, as the person who went and died for the sake of Islam. Imam Hussein is Imam number three. Okay, whenever these people want to bend over and let the other side have its way, they go to Imam number 2, Imam Hassan. So Imam Hussein, when they feel like they want to go crazy and go all terroristic, Imam Hussein was a terrorist. So when they want to go terrorist, they go Imam Hussein, which is Imam number 3, right? Which is one of the most important imams. But when they want to go, okay, maybe not. This is not the time. They go with Imam Hassan, not Imam Hussein, Imam Hassan, which is Imam number 2. But why? Because Imam Hassan didn't go to war. Imam Hassan bent over, folded in front of Muawiyah. So Muawiyah was the caliph at that time. And Hassan, instead of going to war with Muawiyah, he was like, hey, how about we don't? How about you pay me some money? This is actually what he did. and we won't go to war. So they follow Imam Hassan when they don't want to go to war. And Imam Hussein, the caliph of the time of Imam Hussein was Yazid, and Imam Hussein went to war with Yazid, and Yazid basically completely destroyed him easily, because they had many soldiers. He only had 72. Anyways, these are just stories. So now Khamenei today, as a way to tell people, to tell his followers, to tell their not the Iranian people, because the Iranian people don't hate him, most of them, but to his followers in the country, he's trying to sell to them the idea of why are we doing this. So he's going to use the stories of two imams, Imam number 2 and Imam number 6. 2 and 6. 2 is Imam Hassan, 6 is Imam Sadiq. So now let's listen to what he says. He starts with Imam Sadiq. Okay, Imam Sadiq. Guys, this gets important. The part that the regime needs to, you need to understand about the lies of this regime, and the Trump administration needs to listen to, is coming soon. Okay.
بنا یه تحولی اتفاق بیفته به نفع ائمه خدا علیهم السلام. این رو تو روایات متعددی انسان میفهمه، روایاتی که وارد شد. یک روایت.
By the way, he sounds a lot less charismatic and less energetic than before. That's why a lot of people think that he's going to die any moment now.
از حضرت صادق علیه السلام که میفرماید که ان الله، حالا تعبیر شاید جعل، مثلا جعل هذا الامر یا قدر هذا الامر فی سنت 70. خدای متعال این امر را، یعنی امر امامت را، امامت به معنای واقعی را، در تقدیر خودش برای سال 70 هجری گذاشته بود.
Okay. So Imam Sadiq at his time, apparently God had a plan. God had a plan for the Mahdi, for the Imam of the time. Okay? To be basically, Shiism is very messianic. Like, they don't call it the Messiah, but basically it's very, very focused on an end of times narrative where one of the imams will basically go to the end of the world's kind of phase and everything, and he will be the Mahdi, and basically everything will go to shit, and then the Muslims will take over the world, right? So now our understanding, the Shia's understanding, is that this is going to be happening by the Imam number 12, Imam Mahdi. But at the time of Imam number 6, when he was alive, the sixth Imam Sadiq, right? This is like many years ago. This is like more than like 700 years ago, okay? But this is, So this is Imam, wait, hold on. Yes. This is Imam Sadiq. Wait, what year was Imam Sadiq around? Imam Sadiq, because I know Hijri, I need to do Miladi, what's year? So let me actually give you the time of the history. Oh yeah, 765 CE. Okay, I did Gregorian and Qamari, mixed them up. Okay, so 1300 years ago. Okay, so Imam Sadiq, he was supposed to be the Mahdi to come. He was supposed to be the guy that turns into the Mahdi. So right now our understanding is that Imam Zaman, basically the 12th Imam, is going to be the Mahdi. But at that time, people thought it's going to be the 6th Imam. Okay, so let's switch.
ببینید وقتی که امام حسن مجتبی صلح کردن با معاویه، یه عده‌ای می آمدن گله میکردند و اعتراض میکردن. حضرت میفرمودن که
we're going to go back to Imam Sadiq's story, but now he switched the story to Imam Hassan's story, which is the second Imam. And he says when Imam Hassan, the second Imam, when he was doing a peace negotiation with Muawiyah, which is based on Shias, was the evil person of their time, So I have footage. Okay, so this is actually like a movie based on what has happened. This is the Muawiyah, the soldiers of Muawiyah and Muawiyah himself coming here and meeting with Imam Hassan. And Imam Hassan, which was the second Imam, he was basically was forced. Well, he didn't have the upper hand. And basically they decided to negotiate. Like it's okay. So this is, and they signed a peace agreement. But by the way, this is not the. I think this is the not the way that the Iranian regime would show it. But okay, but this was a peace agreement that they had. Anyways, at that time, Muawiyah was very powerful. And hold on, let me actually put this down. And Imam Hassan didn't have the powers to basically destroy him. And he was weak, and he was also a womanizer, Imam Hassan, and he loved money, so he asked Muawiyah to give him money instead. Okay, but that's not how he's talking about it. Let's see how he's talking about it. The fact is that Imam Hassan actually did negotiate and signed a peace agreement with Muawiyah.
لعله فتنة لكم و متاع الی حین. این مال تا یه وقتیه، این موقته.
Oh, this is important. This is important. So Khamenei is now telling, this is the most important part. Khamenei here is telling his followers that when Imam Hassan signed a peace agreement with Muawiyah, he said that this is just temporary. This is just for the time being, right? So Imam Hassan now represents himself. So he sees himself in the position of Imam Hassan, okay, which is saying a lot, by the way. And he sees Trump in the position of Muawiyah. So Imam Hassan was pure and good, and Khamenei sees himself like in the position of Imam Hassan, like now. And Muawiyah, which was the evil caliph at that time, and the caliph of Kufr, basically, because they were Sunni, so he sees them as evil, as infidels, as the people who are not allowing the imams to rule over Muslims, which is how it's supposed to be. But instead of Imam Hassan waging war against Muawiyah, he signed a peace agreement with Muawiyah, and he sees Trump today to be in the position of Muawiyah. And now he's telling his followers, his fans and followers in Iran, that Imam Hassan specifically said that this is a temporary peace. Basically telling his followers, don't be so upset. Don't be so upset that we are basically bending the knee. This is just a temporary thing. We're going to bite back. As soon as we recover, as soon as God wills it, we will attack.
یه وقتیه، این موقته. یعنی تو کلمات امام حسن مجتبی علیه السلام اشاره شده به این که این حادثه، این تسلط کفر و نفاق، این دائمی بنا نیست باشه در تقدیر الهی. این موقت تا کی؟ تا سال 70. بعد تو همین روایت امام، یعنی سال 70 هجری، بناس هر کس از اهل بیت در غیر حیاته این قیام کنه و
All right, so basically it was determined that there's a peace until this year, and then at that year everybody from the Bait, all the Shias, at that point they were supposed to rise up, do an uprising. So we do a temporary peace, and then at the time that is required, we would do the uprising then. Please understand that the Khamenei sees the Iranian regime as revolutionary, which is kind of hard to understand for a lot of people who are not Iranian, because revolutionaries are people who are usually against the regime. How could a regime itself be revolutionary? Like, if you are revolutionary, you are people who are trying to take down the regime. If your regime is in power, you should be not revolutionary anymore. You should be anti-revolutionary. But the Shia mindset is a mindset that is basically always revolutionary. And they think like the reason why Khamenei thinks that, considers himself to be a revolutionary still, even though he's in power, is because they're a revolutionary against the world order, the liberal world order, the Western world order that they are in. So basically, the successful Islamic Revolution of 1979 was just part of the revolution to get Iran for Islam. But obviously, then we have to go get the Middle East for Islam and then the rest of the world for Islam. So they're still in the middle of the revolution. So all the stories of Shia Islam that are the Imams being revolutionaries are different like they use the stories, the lives of the 12 Imams to figure out how to do the revolution. They use them as reference as a guide to doing revolution. So here he's basically saying that just because we are negotiating with evil and basically signing a peace agreement with them temporarily, that doesn't mean that we are basically have given up being their enemies. And at some point, all Shias will do the uprising and go against the powers that be, the Western power. So this is what all Westerners, the politicians of all Western countries, they need to listen to this because this shows that this government can never be trusted. It's not. There's no carrot and stick approach. If you, it's always should be a stick approach, because the carrot approach is not going to change their ways. The carrot approach only works for them to try to recover so that they could attack later. Right. By the way, we got a super chat. I will read super chat, guys. Thank you for the super chat. We do need the super chat so that we could continue doing what we're doing, guys. No channel like ours goes into this level of detail to tell you what's happening. So please recommend this channel. I need you guys to recommend this channel. I need you guys to like the stream, leave comments, because this is a deep level of knowledge about these things that you are not going to see anywhere else. By the way, SFL, thank you for the super chat. SFL saying Trump must go. Well, Trump is not going to go anywhere until his term is over. So I don't know. I don't know what you mean. But okay, but thank you for the super chat.
حکومت رو به دست بگیره، امامت واقعی تحقق پیدا کن. بعد حضرت میفرمایند که فلما قتل الحسین علیه السلام اشتد غضب الله علی اهل الارض.
Oh, Gene, if there are more people, can you start more comments? I do want to respond to a lot more comments after I finish this part, because this is important. Yeah, thank you, SFL, for supporting this channel.
فأخره إلى 140. یعنی خدای متعال حادثه کربلا، این بی‌اعتنایی مردم به مبانی دینی، این اعراض اونها، اثرش این بود که این تقدیر الهی عقب افتاد.
So this is important. He's saying that the people's lack of attention to religious affairs is the reason why God's plan was delayed. So he's basically, because a lot of people a lot of his supporters in Iran are upset that the regime is negotiating with Trump, and they might get upset with the regime. He's saying that this is basically just saying that, just like in before, that God had planned for, I don't know, Imam Sadiq, for example, to be the Mahdi, but then it was delayed to the 12th Imam. It's because of lack of following of religion by the people that this happened. So he's basically trying to blame the people. He's saying, like, the reason why our uprising against the evil imperialist West and Zionists is being delayed is because our people are not being religious enough. We are not following religious instructions. So, and again, by the way, guys, an important question to ask yourself right now here is, why is he admitting this? Like, you're in the middle of negotiations with Trump, and you're saying, like, guys, don't worry, we're going to negotiate with them now, and then eventually we're going to uprise against them. Shouldn't you be keeping this part secret? Like, isn't that going to be working against you? Like, wouldn't the Americans be like, okay, what the hell? So the reason why he is saying this part out loud is because the internal pressure on him is so high right now. There are so many angry radicals and angry hardliners in Iran. I showed you in a previous stream how, actually, that was a member-only stream. So if you remember, you probably have seen that, right? How some people were basically attacking the politicians, not just normal politicians, but the people were attacking hardliner politicians, saying that, why are you basically pledging allegiance to Yazid? Why are you pledging allegiance to the evil of our time? Like, what the hell is happening? Aren't we supposed to be Islamic revolutionaries? Why are we getting in bed with the Americans, with the killer of Qasem Soleimani?
تو سال 140 زمان امام صادق علیه السلام دیگه، حضرت 148 از دنیا رفت.
Okay, he's mentioning these things in Islamic calendar, so that's why I was getting a little bit confused. So we're getting to Imam Sadiq's time, so we're now going from the second Imam story, and we're going to the sixth Imam story now. So this part is interesting. Listen to this part. So we're skipping Imam number 3 because Imam number 3, remember, is the Imam that you use when you want to go to war.
اینو شیعه میدونستن، یعنی خواص شیعه میدونست. لذا زراره مثلا در یه روایتی داره که به اصحابش، زراره که خب جزو نزدیکانه، میگه لا ترا علی اعوادها الا جعفرن. اعواد پایه های این منبر خلافت، یعنی روی این منبر من جعفر رو دارم میبینم که روی این منبر خواهد نشست. اینه. یا در یک روایت دیگه باز همین زراره چون ساکن کوفه بوده، پیغام میده به حضرت صادق علیه السلام، عرض میکنه که یکی از دوستان ما از شیعیان مقروض شده و طلبگارا دنبالش.
Okay, this is very interesting. So he's mentioning the stories of people at the time of Imam Sadiq, which was the sixth Imam, and he's mentioning how they were expecting that the sixth Imam at that time to become the Mahdi. Okay, and he's mentioning different stories, and now he's mentioning a story of somebody at that time who was in debt. Okay, so he owed money to some people. Okay. And the people who he owed money to were chasing after him. Okay, this is the debt collectors of the 7th or 8th century or whatever. You know.
اینم برای که پول نداره از شهر گذاشته رفته، آواره شده.
Oh, and this man, because he didn't have money, and the debt collectors were after him, he ran away from the city. All right, so watch this.
اگر این قضیه تو همین 1-2 سال بناس انجام بگیره، حاصل امر تو روایت، اگه این قضیه خلافت بناس همین 1-2 سال انجام بگیره، خب این باشه تا شما بیایی سر کار و قضایا حل میشه.
So he's mentioning the story of that man who was in debt and debt collectors were chasing him, and he was thinking, oh, it's fine, because Imam Sadiq, the sixth Imam of that time, he's going to become the Mahdi any day now, like in a year or two, and I don't have to pay down my debt anymore. So he's basically telling you these stories of people at that time and how much the expectations were that this Imam Sadiq will become the Mahdi, so much so that this Shia guy who was in debt was like, yeah, you know what? I'll just have to basically run away from these debt collectors for another year or two, and I'll be fine because the Mahdi is going to come in power soon.
اما اگر طولانیه رفقا پول جمع کنند و قرض اینو بدن.
And he was like, basically, I hope it's not going to be longer. And if it's going to be long, I need to go basically ask my friends to collect money so I could pay my debts down.
یعنی کسی مثل زراره منتظر بوده که تو همین 1-2 ساله قضیه مسئله.
So he's saying, so Zorare, which was this man, like somebody like him, apparently was waiting for this stuff to be fixed in 1 or 2 years. Guys, do you know how this is relevant to what he's saying right now? Because he's mentioning the story because a lot of hardliners in Iran are like wants the Iranian regime to do so much more. They're like, why is our regime not destroying Israel? Why is our regime not enforcing hijab in Iran? Why is our regime not getting to the point where fighting this evil Western imperialist power? Why are we just waiting around? Why are these things not happening faster? We're supposed to be an Islamic regime. We're supposed to be the representative of the Mahdi here on earth. And we're supposed to make everything ready for the Mahdi to come. And we are basically, not only we're not doing these things, we're now negotiating with Trump. So he's mentioning the story to show you that this has happened in history before. Like there were people at the time of Imam Sadiq were like, okay, like become a Mahdi now, like what's happening? And it didn't happen, right? It didn't happen. Like basically, he's telling his supporters that you're being too impatient.
تمام بشه. اینی که شما میبینید میان خدمت حضرت صادقه میگن
Yes, exactly. So Carl's saying, is he justifying his failing by promising the end times? No, 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 no. He's trying to justify his failing by saying to his people that you are being impatient, just like the people at the time of Imam Sadiq were impatient. And in fact, their impatience was the reason why God decided, like, oh, you want it to happen now? How about I make it not happen for another 1300 years? Huh? So God was planning to do it at the time of Imam Sadiq, but because people were not following Islam properly, and also because the ones who were loyal supporters of Imam Sadiq, because they were being so impatient about it, God was like, how about not now, huh? How about I'll just delay for more, I'll do this much later. So that's what he's saying. He's basically telling his supporters to back the F down, to shut up and stop complaining. That's what he's saying.
چرا قیام نمیکنید داشتی از اینه منتظرن یه چیزی شنفتن یک مطلبی به گوشون رسیده بعد دنباله همون روایت که 140 رو معین فرمود شما افشا کردید خدا عقب انداخت.
Ooh, see, he says you guys basically gave away the secret. You talked about this hidden truth and God delayed, right? So you guys came out and talked about Imam Sadiq becoming the Mahdi and the uprising happening anytime now against all evil. And God, because of you doing that, God delayed. So you remember how in the member only stream, I showed you some videos of these hardliners saying like, why are we not attacking Israel? Why are we not doing this and that? And like, oh, you complain and God delayed. So God delayed because of your constant nagging. God delays the plan. So the plan. So the uprising that you're waiting for, you should have just shut the f up about it, and then it would have happened. That's what he's saying. He's basically he's blaming the naggers for why all of this is not happening instead of accepting responsibility.
یعنی اگر شیعیان دهنشون قرص بود و افشا نمی‌کردن و اینا شاید همون وقت قضیه تمام میشد.
So he's saying if the Shias had shut their mouth, maybe by that time the Imam Sadiq would have become the Mahdi, and everything, everything would have changed. Like we wouldn't even be in the world that we are today. The end of times would have already happened by that time if the Shias just shut their mouth up. That's what he's saying.
شما ببینید تاریخ
Thank you, Safa.
چقدر تغییر پیدا می‌کرد. اصلا یه مسیر بشر یه مسیر دیگه.
Like imagine what would have happened. Imagine the direction that history would have gone. Everything would have been different today.
دیگری میشد. امروز دنیا
What a freaking childish, stubborn God is like, oh, I was gonna bring the end of times. I was gonna bring this is Allah. Khamenei, this is saying. Khamenei saying Allah was saying like, I was gonna bring the end of times and make everything Islam, but you guys, now that you're asking for it, now I don't want it. Now I don't feel like it. I just saw like I was going to basically bring the end of times for everything and make everything Islamic in the whole world. But I saw these 2 or 3 people saying like, is it going to happen? Are we there yet? How about now? How about now? How about God is like, this was my plan, but you're just too pick. You're just complaining too much. How about I just delay it for another 1,000 years, huh? How do you like it now? This is what he's this is how he's describing Allah.
یعنی کوتاهی‌های ما یه جا دهن لقیمون یه جا کمک نکردنمون.
So he's saying the reason why the uprising is not happening is sometimes is because of our loose lips, basically talking too much. Sometimes because we are, other times because
ما یه جا دهن لقیمون یه جا کمک نکردنمون.
Sometimes because we're not actually helping.
یه جا اعتراض کردن بی خودیمون.
Sometimes we're just complaining for no good reason.
یه جا صبر نکردنمون.
Sometimes we don't have patience.
یه جا تحلیل غلطی که از اوضاع میکنیم
Sometimes because we're um, analyzing the situation incorrectly. So he's saying all these basically social media and media analysts talking. Their wrong analysis is making Allah delay the end of times.
گاهی تأثیر میگذاره تأثیرات تاریخی یعنی
He's saying these all have effects, historic effects.
اینجور چیز میکنه. لذا خیلی باید مراقبت کرد و زندگی امام صادق علیه السلام البته زندگی فوق‌العاده است.
Right.
زندگی
Anyway, I just wanted to show you this. The rest of it I'm not going to show because I want to make sure I have time to read your comments. But this is amazing. So basically, what's happening is that he was saying that we're not going to negotiate at all. And now that they are pissing their pants and they're like, oh my God, we cannot actually, there's no way that we could respond to all of this firepower that the Americans have put around us. And we don't have our proxies left. Our defense capabilities have been humiliated by Israel. And the Iranian people could do like if they see an opportunity, there might be another internal uprising that will be the end of us. So maybe we should negotiate. So instead of basically saying that we're scared and that's why we're negotiating, he's saying he's using the stories of these two imams to basically tell the hardliners in Iran to shut the F up and let me just basically bend over and let Trump do whatever he wants for now. But the most important part so that was the internal politics, but the most important part for the external politics is when he promised that this is temporary and the uprising against the imperialist power, the world order, the liberal world. He says, they say Western imperialism and Zionism, we call it the world liberal order, right? But their uprising against all of that has not been canceled. It has only been delayed for now. We're just going to buy time to recover. And it's important everybody to understand this because a lot of people are like, hey, we don't want war. You guys are warmongers. You want war, but we want peace. And we are like, no, you idiots. We want peace as well. But this is not peace. This is ceasefire for an enemy that is determined to recover and eventually attack. When you have such an evil enemy that is basically it's within its DNA to want to come eventually destroy you, when it's weak for the sake of long lasting peace, you will destroy it. So if you want less war, you don't wait for this wounded beast to recover. If you want peace, you will finish the job instead of letting this evil to become more powerful. They're saying that themselves. I mean, again, this is why I'm saying you don't need to trust me. I'm anti-Islam. I'm an anti-Islamic regime activist. So you don't need to trust me. He's saying that. He makes it very clear. And let me see what you guys are saying. By the way, guys, as soon as I finish this, we have a member-only stream that is more fun because I'm going to show you some really funny clips from some mullahs fighting with each other, and also a competition, a mullah getting some really young girls to do some prayer competition, and then he falling off the stage. But the competition itself is very interesting. And then we have a woman who's in Iran who's making fun of hijabi women by trying to do an exercising in full chador. So I have some funny clips to show you on the member-only stream. By the way, here's the link to that is in the description. You could also find it in the live section of the channel. And I also put it in the live chat. So as soon as I finish this, I'm going to go to the member-only stream. I have some really, really funny videos coming up on that member-only stream. So make sure, if you're a member, make sure you don't miss that. But let me actually just look at your comments really quickly before we hop over to the member only stream. Just as saying, I want to be optimistic, but it just seems like Iranian regime is playing Trump to get what they want, and we're just going to get another Obama type deal instead of the Libyan style or a military strike. Okay, your worries are justified. We don't know what's going to happen. A lot of Trump supporters are saying like, no, don't worry. This is basically 4D chess, upside down 4D chess, blindfolded, underwater Trump. Trump is basically this is a trap set by Trump, and this basically luring them in to eventually jump on them and basically destroy them. And you don't have to worry about this. Trump knows what he's doing. And some people are saying like actually this is very worrisome because Trump seems to be Trump has a deal fetish. So he will do anything to get a deal, and he has a history of basically acting very tough, and then eventually, instead of doing the art of the deal, doing the art of the fold. We saw that with North Korea, we saw that with NAFTA, we saw that with the tariffs, and we're also saying that with Putin. Not that I'm in support of the tariff, but he just says a lot, and then he folds right away. So this might be one of those. So we'll see. We'll see if this is the 4D chess, upside down 4D chess, underwater, in space, blindfolded kind of chess. Like I don't know what it, or and Trump is going to is it a trap and Trump's going to win, or is he no? He's just really desperate to get any form of a deal, and even if it's a bad deal, he's going to say no. It's the best deal that he has ever. It's the best deal that he signed in the history of not just humanity but all living beings in this galaxy. Okay, we don't know which one of these is going to be, but the worries are justified because I don't know, a lot of analysts, including a lot of Israeli analysts, are worried. So we don't know which one is going to happen, but it makes sense to be worried. Muhammad is saying the truth religions is Islam. Your cannot prove my religion to be wrong. Your is kare des. Wow. Okay. Wow. Honestly, I think you will destroy the English language before we get the chance to destroy Islam. I give you that. Chuck is saying Trump is not nearly as stupid as liberals want to believe. Trump might not be stupid, but Trump's motivations might not be in line with what a lot of anti-Iranian regime people want, right? So Trump wants to leave a legacy. Trump here, for example, is not interested in regime change, is not interested in being very, very tough against the Iranian regime just for the sake of being tough against the Iranian regime. He just wants Iran to be denuclearized. He doesn't care about anything else. He doesn't care much about if the Iranian regime continues doing a lot of the things that it's doing, spreading its Islamism. He just wants the Iranian regime not to have nuclear weapons. That's all he wants. And if he gets convinced that a deal gives him that, then the rest might not matter to him. But again, this is why the Netanyahu is, when it comes to fighting the Iranian regime, Israel might be more in line with those motivations than Trump. But we'll see. It might turn out something another way. Chuck is saying, and now the hidden imam is coming. Yeah, the hidden imam is now coming for the past 1,400 years. I mean, 1,300 years. So this has been an ongoing expectation. Amikai is saying, so many men sitting around listening to some senile old man. Where are the women and children? I mean, why would you want to abuse the women and children as well? Yeah, but why would children be there? All right. BGC is saying the only way I can see him turning it around is demanding that the occupational Islamic regime proclaims him the orange Mahdi. Okay, the orange Mahdi. Okay. Vic is saying, Armin, who or what might change Trump's conviction that the deal would be in good faith? Anything, anyone? A little grain of hope anywhere? Anyone? I mean, the best person that could do that right now. I mean, unfortunately, Reza Pahlavi doesn't have as much of an influence in American politics. So this is why, if Reza Pahlavi was more influential, this would be good for us, and that's why a lot more people should know and support Reza Pahlavi so that we could get there. But right now, our only hope is Netanyahu's influence on American politics. That's our main hope, Netanyahu. So Hale is saying, Armin, in your opinion, we can also delay the Zuhur? We can also delay the Zuhur? No, we are infidels. So Zuhur, guys, is basically the coming of the Mahdi. We are actually the reason for it. So the more degeneracy and kufr and anti-Islamism that we spread and corruption that we infidels spread in the land, the closer we bring to we bring the coming of Mahdi. Maybe if we become proper Muslims, we could delay it. But the more you have fun, the more you do haram things, the more that you spread anti-Islamism, the closer the. So we are actually an element for, according to their ideology, we are actually an element, a force for bringing the coming of Mahdi closer. I don't know if I understood your question properly. I think I answered it. Yeah, guys. So basically, by liking the stream, you're helping the Mahdi come here earlier, because liking this channel and subscribing and hitting the bell notification is basically helping spreading corruption in the land. And by corruption, I mean anti-Islamism. And the Mahdi is going to come at the point where corruption has basically taken over most of the world. So you, by liking the stream, you're bringing the coming of Mahdi closer to us, right? So like the stream if you want to meet the Mahdi. Yeah. By the way, Darko just gave us 5 memberships for the people here on the channel. So please come to the, if you just became a member. First of all, thank you, Darko. Thank you for supporting the channel. And come to the member only stream, because the member only stream is going to be fun today. I'm going to show you a lot of hilarious videos. Honestly, it's not politically that important. The video, I'm going to be honest with you, it's not that important, the videos I'm going to watch, but they're hilarious. I mean, I think they're hilarious. We'll see what you guys think. So thank you, Darko, for buying memberships for people in the live chat. And also Carl became a member. Thank you, Carl. So come over to the other side, everybody, so that we could watch that now. So guys, I'm going to end this stream right now. Again, the next stream is in the member only section that I'm going to be starting in about, I don't know, 10 minutes. I'm just going to go drink some water, and then, take a break. And then in 10 minutes, I'm going to start that stream. But before you leave here, make sure you like the stream, make sure you leave a comment, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the bell notification. And guys, you have to be honest. Do you see this type of analysis anywhere else? You don't see it, not at least not in English media. You don't see it anywhere else. This channel is valuable for understanding our greatest enemy, the greatest Islamic enemy to the world is coming from Tehran. And nobody is introducing the nature of this evil to you as good as we are here on this channel. So please support this channel. Samantha saying, how do you become a member? Oh, if you look at the next to the subscribe button, there's a join button, and that will make you a member. Also, guys, there's in your settings, the part when people gift memberships, the only people who receive the memberships are people who have turned on the membership gift receiving on, right? So you need to go into your settings and allow yourself to receive gift if somebody is buying memberships for other people, so for you to get it. Okay, so I'll see you there on the member only stream. Come over. Okay, all right, guys, bye.